opportunity to get to see some of these people I was in awe of. Can you walk it? I can remember my first day at Wraith as well. Small stupid story by the way, but I can remember being in the treatment room and the blinds were open and I had a wee gym next day as well. And Gaza was in doing stuff because he never ever warmed up before the game. He used to go in the gym and do stuff. And I'm in this treatment table and I'm getting straps put on my ankles and that. And I'm honestly sitting there going, wow, it's Paul Gascoigne. He's like within a wall, like right beside me. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to actually go into the gym just to actually go in and I can remember going through and get my trainers and that. It's a thing I never ever done to. I always used to go warm up the park. Goes into the gym and spent 5 minutes in the gym, and it's the first time, and probably not the only time, but I've actually been starstruck, absolutely. And sat and spoke to him for about 5 minutes and sitting talking about his relationship, and he was just a very open book as well. He's a loveliest guy in the world. Honestly, it was just so beautiful, and it was so funny as well. Another story that I look back on in my small career as well, that I can remember scoring in the opening goal. I can remember all the boys celebrating and we're going back towards the halfway line. And I can remember them shouting to me, if I knew you were going to score the first effing goal, I wouldn't have spoke to you in that gym. And I thought to myself, wow, even goosebumps sitting talking about that, by the way. It's just wee stories that just mean so. We drew 2-2 and he scored. Alan McCoy scored. He scored. No, he never scored. Alan McCoy scored and somebody else scored 2-2. But I was a daft painter. Even though I'd done well at St Johnstone, I still see myself as a daft painter that was actually mixing with all these people that were just like heroes to me. Yeah?
I watched the highlights for a game. I actually posted it. I don't know if you've seen it. I posted it to you on Twitter, the goal you scored.
Aye, I can remember it, obviously. I can remember Daniel Lennon running into the goalie and coming away to the side and then shooting into an empty net. Aye, I reckon what other day. Nowadays that would right on the bar like.
It's just like guys like Gaza and all that were playing, man. You know what I mean? Unbelievable players you're playing in the park with. Outstanding.
I mean, I was lucky enough that I played in an era where you were obviously getting to play against the best of the best. As in, like, I mean, Scottish football nowadays, compared to, I mean, it did obviously put people into financial heartache and stuff like that because of all the money or the people on that were owned. But I mean, I was lucky enough to get to play against all these people. They were all kind of no heroes of mine, but they were just people that's kind of been the only time probably in my life I've ever been starstruck. And I was actually thinking to myself, wow, what am actually doing here? I just felt inferior to. People would have thought that's mad because kind of I was a football player, but as I said, I still see myself as being a bit of a daft painter at that kind of time as well.
Mm-hmm. Barry, I think your time at Raith Rovers came to an end. You ended up moving on to Morton. Why did that happen, and how did that come about and stuff?
Well, I think Raith obviously wanted money. They were going to get the opportunities to get good money for these as well. So I can remember got my agent saying, listen, there's a team out in Norway want you. A boy Vida Reset used to play with Celtic. He'd recommended me a team in Norway, a team FC Lean. They play in the Uleval, the national stadium. They play in that. So I went over there to Norway for a couple of weeks. Didn't like it. There was nothing about it. That they trained at weird times because all the boys were they were all working or they were all at university or they were all. It was a strange. I didn't ever know how they ever made ends meet as well because it's the most extortionate place I've ever been. And yet these boys were playing football, hardly getting any money, and they were doing jobs and all that as well. And we actually played in Uleval Stadium. I was there for a couple of weeks. Didn't really fancy it. Plus as well, I couldn't bet over there. You couldn't bet at all over there, so it was no good to me. So I came home. I knew that Motherwell were interested in me. Sorry, that was from Morton to Motherwell. Sorry, actually, that was further on. Billy Stark actually. Billy Stark showed their interest, and I think that for me was, I knew Billy away. Obviously, he's been a Celtic legend and stuff like that. That and Frank Connor as well. That kind of appealed to me to go there and. Went through and spoke to him. I can remember sitting talking to me and saying, I can't actually believe I'm actually sitting here trying to sign you. He says there's been numerous times in his coaching and stuff like that he thought I'd have signed you a bigger club, and he says I don't know what you're doing away from football. I don't know what he says, but come here, do well, go to a massive club. He says because you've got the potential to be wherever you want to be. It's just up to you. And I loved his chat. Went there. And actually done well as well. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. The club was amazing. Frank Connor was a proper legend. Billy and him were just chalk and cheese. Billy'd come in after a game, played against Partick Thistle, for instance, 0-0, comes in after the game, comes down the stairs into the dressing room. Billy's, listen, wasn't it great today, boys? He's wasn't brilliant. Listen, leave it, park it. Monday we'll get a chat about it. Monday and that. Goes out the door, thanks, shuts the door, looks at, then starts annihilating everybody. I'm talking about like, and even for me, I was still sitting thinking to myself, because he was going round the numbers, I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, he's actually going to embarrass me in front of everybody. And he slaughtered everybody. He was old school, but he was amazing. I kind of loved it at the time too. I loved people being hard on me. I liked people to be honest with me. I didn't want to be sugar-coated, and he was one of the people in my whole career that when you were good, you knew you were brilliant, by the way, but when you were bad, you knew you were bad, because he kind of gave you both barrels in front of everybody. So love my time with it. Love my affiliation with the supporters as well. I've been through and done stuff through Morton as well, and it's amazing. Smaller clubs, you go there, you do well. How much you mean to people is just, as I said, that means a lot to me now. I'm a family boy now. I love my wee girl. I love letting her see kind of that I used to be all right at football. I used to be decent. It's quite nice, Ken. It's not about scoring goals, and it's just about people coming up and showing you that love and warmth and how much you mean to football clubs.
Brilliant, mate. Absolutely brilliant. We end up moving on to Motherwell, as you say, and obviously the teams in Norway and that, but you end up moving to Motherwell. What made you decide there anyway?
Another one as well, speaking to Billy Davis, spoke to Billy Davis. He was just, just a. I'm being so fortunate, by the way. I've played with managers. You tell me to pick out my favourite manager, I've been so lucky. Paul Stirrup was a legend. Used to take you on the training park. It was phenomenal. Even like training, twisting, turning. Billy Davis, real legend. Frank Connor, Billy Stark. I was just Craig Levine. I've had loads of good managers. I've been very, very lucky. But I spoke to Billy and don't know, there was an infectious energy about him, where I thought, you know what, I want a wee bit of this. And he obviously signed there. But spent the first 3 months. I didn't play the first 2.5, 3 months. I had glandular fever. So I never played the first 2 or 3 months. I had to go back and do a proper pre-season. And then done a proper pre-season. I think I was on the bench for my first game back. It was a 6-5 against, or 5, was it 5 or 6? I can't remember, against Aberdeen. It was just the most mental game in the world. End to end, loads of goals. But same there, I went there as well. I walked in the dressing room there, and I was just, I was in awe. Andy Gorham, I mean, to me, just, and he's probably been one of my closest pals in my whole football career. Just a proper sitting in my mum and dad sitting for my first game at Motherwell as well, sitting in the players' lounge, and I was away. I come back through, and the goalie sitting talking away to him, and that just get really emotional talking about him. He was just a proper goalkeeper, but a proper good person away from football. Loved him, absolutely loved him. I mean, you'll hear stories about him, or you'll hear he was just the most genuinely lovely person. I spent loads of time with him. We spent a lot of time together. Just he was a proper legend. But you're in there with Don Goodman. I mean, there was lots. Simo Valakari, Jed Brannans. There was loads of Lee McCullochs. There was boys there that. It was another moment where you were going up another notch, looking at players that were just, to me, that were, they were just, and I went there, I've had glandular fever. It was the same for every club I went to. I started off like a house on fire. I was on the bench for that game against Aberdeen, played another game the week after, and then we played on the Wednesday night against Celtic at Parkhead, and this was the October. And this is really, I'd only been in front of the fans